So this talk is about twin paradox explanations that artificial intelligence AI says are wrong. If you're going to watch this video, then you need some background on knowing the twin paradox. And basically the idea is two twins, one of them becomes an astronaut, goes off in a spaceship, experiences Einstein's relativity, and comes back younger than the twin that stayed on Earth. And now ChatGPT is the AI artificial intelligence that I prefer. I asked it what explanations that have been offered for the twin paradox that are wrong. So the AI says several incorrect explanations for the twin paradox have been proposed, often due to misunderstandings of special relativity and its principles. Here are some explanations that are commonly seen as incorrect or misleading. Number one, the gravitational time dilation argument. And the incorrectness is this explanation incorrectly invokes general relativity with its gravitational time dilation to explain the twin paradox, and the twin paradox is supposed to be fundamentally a special relativity issue. And the problem is gravitational time dilation is the result of differences in gravitational potential which affects time and curved space-time, and that's part of general relativity. However, the twin paradox is supposed to occur mainly within flat space-time and does not require any gravitational effects. And that's some people have argued about that a lot. The time difference between the twins is entirely due to special relativity and the acceleration of the travelling twin. Now, some people argue that special relativity can't deal with acceleration, but in this context, it's AI is thinking you can add acceleration to special relativity. Anyway, the conclusion is gravitational time dilation is not required to explain the twin paradox and leads to unnecessary confusion when introduced in this context. So number two for which AI claims to be incorrect explanations for the twin paradox is the relativity of simultaneity is not important argument. And the incorrectness there is some incorrect explanations claim that the relativity of simultaneity, which is a key concept in special relativity, isn't important or doesn't play a significant role in the paradox. And the problem is this is a fundamental misunderstanding. The relativity of simultaneity is critical because it explains why each twin sees the other clock running slower when they are in relative motion. It also plays a central role in resolving the apparent paradox when the twins reunite. If the relativity of simultaneity were ignored, it would be impossible to explain why the travelling twin ages less, even though both twins observe time dilation in the other's clock. Conclusion: the relativity of simultaneity is central to resolving the paradox and is not something to disregard. Next explanation it considers incorrect is number three, the symmetry argument. Both twins see the other clocks run slower. And the incorrectness is some explanations mistakenly argue that the twin paradox can be resolved by assuming that both twins see the other clocks running slower due to the symmetry of the situation. And the problem, this view neglects the crucial role of acceleration. And AI is in this context thinking that special relativity can deal with acceleration, while there have been people who have argued no, it can't. And the conclusion is the argument of symmetry is incorrect if it ignores the fact that acceleration breaks the symmetry between the twins. So number four, for which AI claims is an incorrect explanation of the twin paradox, is the Lorentz contraction alone causes the time difference argument. And the incorrectness there is some people mistakenly believe that Lorentz contraction is the sole reason for the time difference in the paradox. And the problem is, while Lorentz contraction affects spatial distance, i.e. the moving twin perceives distance is to be contracted in the direction of motion, it does not directly affect time dilation. Time dilation is the primary effect that leads to the aging difference, and it occurs independently of Lorentz contraction. Lorentz contraction alone doesn't explain why the travelling twin ages less. The conclusion from AI is Lorentz contraction is not responsible for the time difference in the twin paradox. Time dilation is the key effect that leads to the aging difference. Number 5, which is deemed to be the incorrect solution, is the switching frames means both twins should see the same thing argument. And the incorrectness there is some explanations argue that since both twins switch frames at some point, they should both see the other's clock running slower and therefore age the same amount. Problem: this reasoning ignores the fact that only the travelling twin undergoes a physical acceleration, i.e. feels the acceleration, while the other twin doesn't. And the conclusion is this explanation is incorrect because it overlooks the acceleration of the travelling twin, which is the crucial factor in resolving the paradox. So you have one twin which feels the acceleration, and the other twin is not feeling the acceleration. And number 6 for the incorrect explanations for the twin paradox, according to AI, is that both twins should age the same argument, and that is supposed to be a misunderstanding of symmetry. The incorrectness: some argue that the twin paradox is nonsensical because both twins are in identical situations, so they should age the same. And the problem: this argument often overlooks the fact that the situation is not symmetric due to the acceleration. So it's an acceleration issue coming in again. And the conclusion is the situation is not symmetric once the acceleration is considered. So number 7 for the incorrect explanations for the twin paradox according to the AI is the relativity of time alone and no need for acceleration argument. And the incorrectness there is some explanations focus solely on relativity of time without mentioning acceleration or inertial frames. And the problem is, in special relativity, time dilation is the result of relative motion between inertial frames. However, time dilation alone does not explain the aging difference of the twins after the journey. The key point is that the travelling twin switches frames, and that's via using acceleration, which breaks the symmetry and leads to a time difference upon reunion of the twins. And the conclusion is, while time dilation is a real effect, the explanation fails to account for the asymmetry caused by acceleration, which is critical to the paradox. So you've got this switch between symmetry and asymmetry, which you've got to consider. Asymmetry is brought in by acceleration. And so the overall conclusion is the main incorrect explanations for the twin paradox stem from either misapplying concepts from general relativity, misunderstanding the role of acceleration, or failing to recognise that symmetry is broken when the travelling twin changes inertial frames, and changing inertial frames due to acceleration. The correct explanation relies on special relativity, where the twin paradox is resolved by acceleration of the travelling twin, which breaks the symmetry and results in a real difference in aging. So AI does give what it deems is the correct explanation for the twin paradox, but what I'm interested in is if any of these incorrect explanations have been taught to physics students. So, putting aside what AI considers to be the correct answer, and looking still at these incorrect answers. So I pose the question, have any of these incorrect explanations been taught to physics students in the past? And AI says yes, some of these incorrect explanations have been taught to physics students, often due to misunderstandings or oversimplifications in early education, or due to a lack of careful distinction between concepts in special relativity and general relativity. AI then goes on to further explanations, but what I'm interested in is, are any of these incorrect explanations still being taught? And AI says yes, and it goes into a long explanation about that, which I shall pass on. So based on that, there's supposed to be a lot of false information about relativity out there, according to AI. Now, given that many dissidents who think relativity is wrong have gone through a physics education system that has taught them false things about relativity, then no wonder they came to the conclusion that relativity is wrong. From the AI perspective, it is just trying to say relativity is correct, but a lot of what has been taught about is wrong. So, there you go. So, the correct explanation according to AI is the following for the twin paradox. It's based on special relativity and the asymmetry introduced by acceleration. Here's a summary of why the explanation works. Number one, time dilation in inertial frames. According to special relativity, when two observers are in relative motion, each will see the other's clock run slower. This is the time dilation effect. However, both observers in relative motion are in inertial frames, meaning they are not experiencing acceleration, which is change in velocity. Time dilation only applies symmetrically in these frames. That's when there's no acceleration. Number two is breaking the symmetry is by acceleration. The key to resolving the paradox is that the twin on the spaceship, the travelling twin, is the one that actually undergoes acceleration. And so it's they're not inertial frames anymore. The travelling twin's experience of acceleration means they cannot claim to be in the same inertial frame as the earthbound twin. This is what leads to the difference in aging when the two reunite. Number three, the relativity of simultaneity. Another key concept is the relativity of simultaneity, which is the idea that two events that are simultaneous in one frame may not be simultaneous in another frame, moving relative to first. This is a subtle but important part of the explanation. The travelling twin's frame changes during the turnaround, which affects how they perceive events on Earth, including the earthbound twin's clock. The Earth twin, on the other hand, has a consistent frame of reference and can straightforwardly calculate the total time passed. And number four is the effect of aging. When the two twins are reunited, the travelling twin has aged less than the earthbound twin. This is because during the high-speed motion, the travelling twin's clock ticks more slowly, as predicted by special relativity. The key point is that the slower ticking is only true for the travelling twin during their motion and their time spent in inertial frames. The acceleration that happens when turning around is a key point that distinguishes their experiences. And so the conclusion from AI is the paradox is resolved by recognizing that the situation is not symmetrical. Only one twin, traveller twin, that's astronaut, undergoes acceleration. And so with that means their experience of time is not equivalent to the earthbound twin. Thus the travelling twin will age less when they reunite, and this is fully consistent with the theory of special relativity. So the correct explanation is the paradox arises because only the travelling twin accelerates, which causes a change in inertial frames, and this breaks the symmetry of the situation. So, next question I want to ask, does everyone agree to that? And AI says, while the acceleration-based explanation is the one that most physicists and specialists in relativity agree on, there are still some debates or misunderstandings, particularly in how the paradox is explained or interpreted and how the two twins perceive each other as aging. So there is still some debate, so not everybody is agreeing. So AI is giving a point of view on the issue, and from information that is gathered, and it's saying the explanations which it considers which are incorrect, and then it gives you the situation which it gives you the explanation which it considers correct, and that's all really not fully agreed by the physics establishment. And for me, when I go into the issue, I don't fully agree with it. The official mainstream point of view on this issue, the one that say most physicists agree with, I don't agree with it. But here we have presented the explanations that have been taught to physics students and which are now deemed by AI as incorrect. And we have the explanation which AI has views as the correct one. So we have here a clear difference between different points of view on relativity. And so that's it, finished. That's the end of this short little talk. Thank you.